I always thought I'd leave this place behind, but some roads just keep pulling you back.
The first time I saw Rachel Bennett in 12 years, she was hanging laundry in her backyard. I was standing behind the oak tree at the edge of her property, watching her through the gaps in the fence like some kind of stalker. I knew I shouldn't be there. I knew I should have knocked on the front door like a normal person. But I couldn't make my feet move. She looked exactly the same. Same dark hair, pulled back in a practical ponytail. Same gentle smile, even though she was just hanging clothes. Same way of humming softly to herself while she worked. And she looked completely different. There was a wariness in her eyes that hadn't been there before, a heaviness in her shoulders, a sadness that she carried like a familiar coat. I knew that sadness. I'd been carrying it myself for 12 years. Before I tell you this story, I need you to do one thing. Hit that subscribe button right now. Trust me, you're going to want to stay until the very end of this one, because what I'm about to share with you will make you question everything you thought you knew about love, betrayal, and what it really means to come out on top. She reached up to hang a white sheet on the line, and the sunlight caught the gold band on her left hand. She was still wearing her wedding ring, still wearing it. After all these years, I felt something crack inside my chest. I should have walked away. I should have turned around, gotten back in my truck, and driven far away from this town. I should have left her alone to live her life in peace. But I couldn't, because I'd made a promise. Let me go back to the beginning. My name is Michael Anderson. I'm 38 years old. I spent 12 years in the Navy SEALs. I saw things that would haunt any man. I did things I'm not proud of. I lost people I loved. And I made a promise I couldn't keep. My best friend was Kyle Bennett. We joined the Navy together when we were 18. We went through Bud/S training together. We deployed together. We bled together. We saved each other's lives more times than I can count. Kyle was the best man I ever knew. He was kind, honest, loyal to a fault. He had a wife named Rachel and 2 little girls, and he talked about them constantly. Every chance he got, he'd pull out his wallet and show me their pictures. The oldest was Emily. She had her mother's eyes. The youngest was Lily. She had her father's smile. One day, Michael, Kyle used to say, "You'll find someone like Rachel, and you'll understand why I can't stop smiling. You're a sap," I'd tell him, a complete and utter sap. But I was happy for him. I was proud of him. He had everything I'd ever wanted, and then he died. It was a mission gone wrong. A nighttime raid in a village I won't name. We were ambushed. Kyle took a bullet meant for me. He died in my arms, bleeding out in the dirt, while I tried to stop the bleeding with my bare hands. His last words were, "Take care of them. Promise me, Michael. Promise me you'll take care of my girls." "I promise," I said. "I promise." And then he was gone. For 12 years, I tried to keep that promise. I sent money to Rachel. Anonymous bank transfers, never traceable. I couldn't face her. I couldn't look at her without seeing Kyle's blood on my hands. I wrote letters that I never sent. "Dear Rachel, I'm sorry I haven't been in touch. I'm sorry I haven't been there for you. I think about you every day. I think about Emily and Lily every day. I want to be there, but I can't. I don't know how. I never sent them. Instead, I buried myself in my work. I deployed again and again. I volunteered for the most dangerous missions. I didn't care if I lived or died. I figured if I died, at least I'd be with Kyle again. But I didn't die. I kept surviving, and the guilt kept growing. I got out of the Navy when I was 36. I was broken, mentally and physically. My body was scarred. My mind was worse. I had nightmares. I had panic attacks. I couldn't hold down a job. I couldn't hold down a relationship. I was a mess. And then one day, I was sitting in a VA hospital waiting room, flipping through a magazine, and I saw an article about Rachel. It was a local newspaper from her hometown. Someone had left it on the table. I don't know why I picked it up, but I did. And there she was. The article was about a charity event she'd organized for military families. There was a photograph of her standing with Emily and Lily. They were teenagers now. Emily was 17, tall and slender with her mother's serious eyes. Lily was 15, more carefree, her father's smile bright on her young face. They looked happy, but I could see the sadness in Rachel's eyes. The same sadness I'd seen in the backyard. The same sadness I'd been carrying for 12 years. and I knew what I had to do. I drove to their town 3 weeks later. It was a small place in Virginia. Quiet streets, big trees. The kind of town where everyone knew everyone else's business. I'd been there once before, for Kyle and Rachel's wedding. It felt like a lifetime ago. I found their house easily. It was a modest 2-story home with a white picket fence and a porch swing. There were flowers in the front yard, a basketball hoop in the driveway. It looked like a happy home. I parked across the street and sat in my truck for an hour, trying to work up the courage to knock on the door. What would I say? Hello, Rachel. Remember me? I'm the man who let your husband die. I'm the man who made a promise and then disappeared for 12 years. She would hate me, and she would be right, but I had to try. I knocked on the door at exactly 6 o'clock in the evening. A young woman opened it. She was tall, with long brown hair and her mother's serious eyes. I'm looking for Rachel Bennett, I said. Is she here? She's in the kitchen. Who's asking? I'm an old friend. My name is Michael Anderson. The girl's eyes widened. Michael Anderson? Uncle Michael? I blinked. Excuse me? I'm Emily, Kyle's daughter. My dad told me about you. He showed me pictures. You were his best friend. I felt my throat tighten. You remember me? I remember everything about my dad, she said softly. Mom kept his photo albums. There were pictures of you two in there. She always wondered what happened to you. I looked at my feet. I know. I should have been in touch. I'm sorry. Don't apologize to me, she said. Apologize to her. She stepped aside and gestured for me to come in. The house smelled like garlic and tomatoes. Someone was cooking. I walked through the living room, past family photographs, past toys and books, and the evidence of a life well lived. And then I saw her. Rachel was standing at the stove, stirring a large pot. She was wearing an apron over a simple dress, and her hair was loose, falling in waves over her shoulders. She looked older than the last time I'd seen her. There were lines around her eyes, and a few strands of gray in her hair. But she was still beautiful. Emily, is someone at the door? She asked without turning around. Mom, Emily said. There's someone here to see you. Rachel turned, and she froze. The wooden spoon in her hand fell to the floor with a clatter. Michael, she whispered. Is that really you? Yes, I said. It's me. She stared at me for a long moment, her eyes searching my face like she was trying to find something, some clue, some explanation for why I'd been gone for so long. I need to sit down, she finally said. We sat in her living room. Emily made tea. Rachel stared at me like I was a ghost. I thought you were dead, she said. I thought you died in that same mission. Kyle never told me what happened. No one told me what happened. I assumed I survived, I said. I was wounded, but I survived. And you never called. You never wrote. You just disappeared. I nodded. I know. I'm sorry. I should have reached out, but I couldn't. Every time I thought about you, I saw Kyle's face. I heard his voice. I remembered the promise I made. What promise? To take care of you. To take care of Emily and Lily. He asked me to look after you, and I failed. I failed him. I failed you. I failed everyone. Rachel was quiet for a moment. Then she said, Why are you here now? Because I want to keep that promise, I said. I know it's been 12 years. I know I don't have the right to walk back into your life, but I want to try. I want to make things right. Rachel looked at her hands. Her wedding ring gleamed in the lamplight. I don't know if I can do this, she said quietly. I don't know if I can let you in. Just let me prove myself, I said. Give me a chance. I won't let you down. The next few weeks, I started coming around. I fixed the broken gate in the backyard. I repaired the leaky faucet in the kitchen. I mowed the lawn. I painted the porch. Rachel watched me like she was waiting for me to disappear again. Emily was more welcoming. She'd been born a few years before Kyle died, and she had vague memories of her father. She wanted to know everything about him, what he liked, what he was like, what kind of man he was. He was the bravest man I ever knew, I told her, and the kindest. He would have been so proud of the woman you're becoming. She smiled at that. It was the first time I'd seen her smile. Lily was more reserved. She was 15 and full of teenage angst. She'd been 3 when her father died, and she had no memories of him at all. You're not my dad, she said to me one afternoon. You can't just show up and try to be my dad. I know, I said. I'm not trying to replace him. I would never do that. I just want to be your friend. You don't even know me. I want to. Fine, she said. But don't expect me to call you Uncle Michael. 3 months after I arrived, Rachel and I had our first real conversation. It was a Saturday night. Emily and Lily were at a friend's house. Rachel and I were alone. She'd made dinner. We ate in the dining room, the candles flickering between us. "Why did you come back?" she asked. "Really?" "Because I owed you an explanation," I said. "And because I couldn't live with the guilt anymore." "The guilt?" "The guilt of being the one who survived. The guilt of making a promise I couldn't keep. The guilt of running away instead of being there for you." She reached across the table and put her hand on mine. "Michael, you didn't run away. You were grieving. You were struggling. I can't imagine what you went through." "I don't deserve your kindness," I said. "You deserve it more than you think," she said. That night, something shifted between us. We started talking more. Really talking. I told her about my deployments, my nightmares, my failed attempts to move on. She told me about the years after Kyle died, the sleepless nights, the loneliness, the struggle to raise 2 daughters alone. "I didn't think I'd make it," she said. "There were days I didn't want to get out of bed." But Emily and Lily needed me, so I got up. "You're strong," I said. "Stronger than me." "I don't know about that," she said. "But I survived, and that's something." One evening, Rachel took me to Kyle's grave. It was in the local cemetery, a small plot under a large oak tree. His headstone was simple. His name, his dates. A single line, "Beloved husband and father." "He would have hated the city," I said. "He always talked about buying a farm." "He wanted chickens," Rachel said with a smile. "He wanted fresh eggs every morning. He would have been terrible at it. He couldn't even keep a houseplant alive." We stood there in silence for a moment. "Do you think he's watching?" Rachel asked. "Do you think he sees us?" "I don't know," I said, "but I hope he does. I hope he knows I kept my promise." "You did keep it," she said. "You came back. That's all he would have wanted." The romance happened slowly. It wasn't a lightning strike. It wasn't fireworks. It was a gradual realization that we'd become something more than friends. I noticed the way she looked at me when she thought I wasn't watching. The way she smiled when I walked into the room. The way she leaned into me when we sat on the porch swing together. And I noticed the way I felt when she was near. The warmth in my chest. The way my heart beat faster. The way I wanted to protect her, to hold her, to never let her go. It scared me. It scared me because I still felt like I was betraying Kyle. And it scared me because Rachel was the most important person in my life. She kissed me for the first time on a rainy Tuesday evening. We were sitting on her couch, watching an old movie. The rain was pounding against the windows. The girls were upstairs, asleep. "I don't want to be alone anymore," she said softly. "You're not alone," I said. "You'll never be alone." She leaned in and pressed her lips to mine. It was soft, gentle, tentative, but it was also real. "I've been wanting to do that for weeks," she whispered. I laughed. "So have I." And then we kissed again. But not everyone was happy for us. Rachel's mother, Margaret, was a deeply religious woman who believed that widowhood was a sacred vow. She'd never remarried after Rachel's father died, and she expected Rachel to do the same. "You can't be serious," Margaret said when Rachel told her about us. "You're going to take up with a man who abandoned you for 12 years? He didn't abandon me, Mom. He was grieving." "Grieving? He didn't even call. He didn't write. He just disappeared. And now he thinks he can waltz back into your life and take Kyle's place?" "I'm not taking anyone's place," I said. "I'm just trying to be there for Rachel and the girls." "You're trying to replace my son-in-law," she said coldly. "And I won't allow it. No one's replacing anyone," Rachel said. "Kyle is still part of our lives. He always will be. But I have a right to be happy too." "Happy?" Margaret scoffed. "You think this is happiness? This is disrespect. This is a sin." I looked at Rachel. She was crying now. "Your mother is wrong," I said. "What we're doing isn't a sin. It's 2 people trying to find happiness together." Margaret turned to me, her eyes blazing. "Stay away from my daughter. Stay away from my granddaughters, or I will make your life a living hell." The rumors started shortly after. Rachel's mother had a lot of friends in the church, and she wasn't shy about sharing her opinion. Soon, people were talking, whispering, looking at us with judgment in their eyes. "I heard he's a soldier," someone said in the grocery store. "Probably has PTSD. Probably dangerous." "Poor Rachel," someone else said. "She's so desperate. She'll take anyone." "He's using her," another voice chimed in. "He sees a vulnerable widow and thinks she's an easy target." It was devastating. Rachel started getting nasty looks at church. Her friends stopped calling. The girls came home from school in tears because other kids were repeating what their parents were saying. "Why are they so mean?" Emily cried. "What did we do wrong?" "Nothing," Rachel said. "You did nothing wrong. Then why do they hate us?" The controversy hit a peak when Margaret filed a complaint with the church council. She claimed that Rachel was living in sin and that she was a bad influence on the girls. She demanded that the church intervene and save Rachel from her relationship with me. The council called a meeting. Rachel and I sat in the church basement, facing a panel of elders. They were all older, conservative, deeply religious. They looked at us like we were criminals. "Rachel," the head elder said, "we've heard some troubling things about your relationship with this man." "He's not just this man," Rachel said. "His name is Michael, and he's a good person." "We're not questioning his character," the elder said. "We're questioning your judgment. You're a widow. You have responsibilities to your daughters, and you're engaging in behavior that is inappropriate." "Excuse me?" "You're in a relationship with a man who is not your husband. You're living together. You're setting a poor example for your children." Rachel stood up, trembling with rage. "I'm not living with him. He has his own apartment. And we're not doing anything inappropriate. We just care about each other. Is he helping you raise your children?" "Yes." "And will you marry him?" "I don't know. Maybe. It's complicated." "It shouldn't be complicated," the elder said. "Either you're committed to this man or you're not. And if you're not, you're setting a bad example for your children." Rachel looked at me, tears in her eyes. "I need to think," she said. "I need time. The meeting didn't solve anything. If anything, it made things worse." Margaret filed another complaint, this time with the district board. The church community turned against us. Even some of Rachel's closest friends abandoned her. "It's too much," Rachel said one night. "I can't do this anymore." "I know," I said. "I know it's hard. Michael, they're threatening to excommunicate us. My mother is threatening to take me to court. She says she'll claim I'm an unfit mother. She can't do that. She can try. And in this town, she might win." I took her hands in mine. "What are you saying?" She looked at me with tears streaming down her face. "I'm saying I can't lose my daughters, Michael. I can't lose everything I've worked so hard to build. If I have to choose between you and them, you'll choose them," I said. "I know you will. I'm sorry." "Don't be sorry," I said. "You're a mother. That's what you're supposed to do." I stayed for another week. I told Emily and Lily about the situation as best I could. I told them I loved them. I told them I was proud of them. I told them I would never forget them. "Uncle Michael," Emily said, crying. "Please don't go." "I have to," I said. "But I'll be back. I promise." "Everyone says that," Lily said bitterly, "and then they leave." "Your father didn't leave because he wanted to," I said gently. "He died protecting people he loved. And if you think I'm anything like him, then you know I would never abandon you by choice." Emily hugged me tightly. Lily stood back, her arms crossed. "Come here," I said to her. She hesitated. "Come here," I said again. She walked into my arms, and she started to cry. "Don't go," she whispered. "Please don't go." I held her close. "I love you, Lily. I love you like you're my own." The morning I left, Rachel was waiting for me on the porch. She had a letter in her hand. "I wrote this for you," she said. "I want you to read it when you're far away, when you can't come back. Rachel, just read it," she said. "And remember that I love you. I always will." I put the letter in my pocket. I kissed her forehead. I kissed Emily's forehead. I kissed Lily's forehead. And then I walked away. I drove for 12 hours straight. When I finally stopped, I was in the middle of nowhere. A small town in the mountains. I found a motel and sat in my room, staring at the letter. I opened it. "Dear Michael, I know you think you're doing the right thing. I know you think you're protecting me and the girls. But I want you to know something. I love you. I've loved you since the day you showed up on my doorstep, broken and guilty and full of regret. I've loved you through the tears and the fights and the difficult conversations. I've loved you through my mother's hatred and the church's judgment and the whispers of the town. I love you, Michael, and I will always love you. But I can't be with you. Not now. Maybe not ever." The girls need stability. They need a mother who can focus on them. And as long as we're together, there's always going to be conflict. My mother will keep fighting. The church will keep judging. The girls will keep suffering. I can't do that to them. So I'm asking you to let me go. Let me raise my daughters in peace. Let me live my life without dragging you into it. And if you ever think about coming back, remember that I love you too much to let you destroy everything I've built. Yours always, Rachel. I never went back. I moved to another town. I started a new life. I fixed things. I built things. I helped people. And every day, I thought about Rachel, about Emily and Lily, about the family I could have had. 5 years later, I received a letter. It was from Emily. She was 22 now. She'd graduated from college. She was working as a teacher. She wrote, "Dear Uncle Michael, I know you probably don't want to hear from me. I know it's been a long time, but I wanted to tell you something. I understand now why you left. I understand why Mom asked you to leave. It wasn't because she didn't love you. It was because she loved you too much to let you suffer. And I wanted to tell you that we never stopped loving you. Mom never stopped loving you. She told me, years after you left, that she made the biggest mistake of her life letting you go. She said she should have fought for you. She said she should have stood up to my grandmother and the church and everyone else. But she was scared, and she was trying to protect us. I don't blame her for that, but I wish things had been different. You were the best man we ever knew. You were the father we never had. And I wanted to say thank you for the repairs, for the conversations, for everything you taught us about strength and courage and loyalty. Thank you for being our Uncle Michael. We'll never forget you. Love, Emily." I read the letter 100 times. I kept it in my pocket, close to my heart, and I wrote a reply. "Dear Emily, your letter meant more than you'll ever know. I want you to know that I never stopped loving your mother. I never stopped loving you and Lily. You are the most important people in my life, even though I haven't seen you in years. I want you to know that I'm proud of you. You've grown into a beautiful, strong, compassionate young woman. Your father would be so proud. Please tell your mother that I forgive her. I forgive her for asking me to leave. I forgive her for not fighting. I understand why she did it. And please tell her that I still love her. I will always love her. Yours always, Michael." I never got a reply. Years passed. I grew old. I lived alone in my cabin in the mountains. I fixed things. I built things. I helped people. And I thought about Rachel. Every single day. When I was 65, I got sick. Cancer. Terminal. 6 months, maybe a year. I didn't tell anyone. I didn't want pity. I just wanted to live out my remaining days in peace. But I did write one last letter. "Dear Rachel, if you're reading this, I'm probably gone. I just wanted to say thank you. Thank you for letting me into your life, even for a little while. Thank you for showing me what love feels like. Thank you for giving me a family, even if I couldn't keep them. I kept my promise, Rachel. I took care of you and the girls, even if it meant letting you go. I hope you're happy. I hope you found someone who loves you the way I did. I hope you think of me sometimes. I know I'll think of you. Always. Yours, forever, Michael." 3 weeks after I mailed the letter, I received a package. Inside was a photograph. It was Rachel, Emily, and Lily. Emily was holding a baby. Lily was holding a wedding bouquet. They looked happy, so happy. And on the back of the photograph, in Rachel's handwriting, "We never forgot you, Michael. We will always love you. Thank you for being the best man we ever knew. Yours always, Rachel, Emily, Lily, and baby Emma." I smiled. I held the photograph to my chest. And I thought about Kyle. "I kept my promise, buddy," I whispered. "I took care of them, even if it meant losing them." I died 2 months later, peacefully, with Rachel's photograph in my hands. Sometimes love means letting go. Sometimes love means making the hardest choice. And sometimes love means carrying someone in your heart for the rest of your life. If this story has touched something inside you, please support Heartline Stories Truth by subscribing and turning on notifications. Every subscriber helps us continue sharing original stories about hope, family, forgiveness, and second chances. Now, let's continue. There's a quiet truth I've learned over the years. We all make promises we can't keep. We all fail the people we love. But sometimes, the greatest gift you can give someone is the strength to walk away, to protect them from the world's judgment, to let them live in peace, even if it breaks your heart. I don't regret meeting Rachel. I don't regret falling in love with her. And I don't regret leaving, because I know that somewhere, somehow, Kyle is watching, and he's proud of me. Thank you for spending your time with Heartline Stories Truth. If this story stayed with you, subscribe for more original stories about family, resilience, healing, and hope. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments, and we'll see you in the next story.